Well, hello everyone. I hope you've all recovered. You know how you party animals can be on New Year's Eve. I hope there's no hangovers today. So Happy New Year. And I have just a few makes to share with you today. A couple of them are new to me, first time making, and some of them are remakes for this coming market on Friday. So it happens that on Sunday, I didn't make very much because I went down this rabbit hole. Crochet Grove is coming out with a new snake pattern and it twists. And I'm like, how does she do that? How does she make that nice big spin? I mean, I have a good idea. So I was playing with my scrap yarns and trying to figure it out. But my spiral was coming out too tight, tighter than I wanted it to be. And then I went and watched a tutorial yesterday, and I will never get that 38 minutes back. It was one where to get the spiral, they were doing half double crochets and double crochets. And when they got to the double crochet part, I'm like, there's no way. You cannot do a stuffed plushie with double crochet and not end up with massive holes in it. And as I was watching this tutorial, you could see all the holes that were in the person's project. So I'm like, that is not going to work. That is not how it is done. So the conclusion to this story is I am just going to have to wait until Annabelle releases her new pattern and buy the pattern. I did not want to buy another snake pattern, but I am so curious to see how she did that and have the nice bigger spirals. Like, I just don't want to spend any more time going down that rabbit hole. So I am going to end up having to buy that pattern. So I didn't get a whole lot made Sunday, or yesterday for that matter. But, so I have a few things. The first thing that I made this week is another lovey. I know, I've been on a lovey kick lately. And this one is my new yarn that I picked up when I went to Joann's. And it was Orange Crush, an ombre. It came in a cake. And it's Bernat. And I did not try to color block this. I just let it go. We rolled with it. However the colors were going to land, that's how they landed. And then used my scrap yellow that I had for the wings and the little horn buds and the baubles on the tail. But this is how this little guy turned out. And I love how the colors came out. Absolutely love how the colors came out. I'm sure a lot of you have already made this because most people that I know here through YouTube have the Mama Made Minis book. But if you don't, I will link it down below. There's like, I don't know, 12 or 16 different patterns in it. It's a great price. I have not made them all yet. So this one was new to me. It's not new anymore. But I think he is so pretty. The only part that I didn't care for how the color changed was right here. Kind of looks like he's wearing a shirt, but that's okay. And this mustardy looking, it's not really yellow, but it's not really orange. But this color here seemed to be the bulk of the color because we got the body, the legs, the arms, and the tip of the tail before it started getting a little darker. But I like how it turned out. I am very pleased with this. So we now have a dragon lovey to add to the collection. So after I finished that dragon lovey, I was like, we got to stop doing this. We have to stop trying new patterns because we have the market coming up, and there are just some things that need to be remade. And I mean, I had 3 weeks, but Christmas was in there, and I don't know, just I wasn't working at any like high speed. I was just trying to kick back and enjoy myself. So while watching some program, I don't remember what it was. Oh, actually, no, I do remember. It was on Netflix. This Equalizer with Queen Latifah in it, which seems kind of strange that she was cast in this role. But, I mean, had a halfway decent storyline. So I was watching that, and the guy, one of the 3 main characters, Harry, he was wearing all these gorgeous sweaters and jackets, and like the first one was a granny square sweater. And you don't usually think of guys being in granny square sweaters, but it was gorgeous. And then, oh gosh, I don't even remember them all now, but all of them, they had all this great yarn wardrobe. You know, it was just, it was very interesting. So I'm watching that, and I was looking out for the different types of clothing they were wearing. So while I was doing that, I started making the little critters that go on the swings, and I used all from Jade's because I still have plenty of birds, regular birds, I think. So we did a frog, and sticking with the scrap, I'm using my scrap yarns on. So we did the frog and an otter and a turtle. Now this turtle was funny. I ran out of one shade of green. I mean, I have a tiny bit of this green left, but I knew before I even started it's not going to be enough to make all 4 bobble stitches. So I switched greens for the legs. So he's different. He's a colorful little guy. Then we did a penguin and a mallard. And the others are, like, I have a few axolotls left, and I think I sold the seals. I just I wasn't in the mood for the seal. So I had just the critters made, and then when I got up the next day, which was yesterday, I was like, all right, let me knock out the swings, and I used all the same color for the swings. And this was some of the toucan yarn that I had left. So I'm making those. I get them all done, get them all attached, and then we start with all the interruptions. And not that they were bad interruptions, just interruptions. Phone calls, text messages, dog groomer showed up to trim Flash's nails, and I wasn't aware that they were coming yesterday. Just things. So the next item that I made felt like it took all day long because just the events of the day. And this one is a new pattern to me. Now, 2 of the colors in here are scrap. Well, actually, all 3 colors came out of my scrap basket. But one, was a little more than the rest. So, this is a new pattern. It was just newly released. And I love this guy. He's so cute. And there is a couple of things that I would try and do differently. But for the most part, it worked out pretty good for me. Like, I didn't have to just where I put my arms. I didn't have to adjust where the legs, you know, everything just kind of flowed for me. So this is a Momo, a lemur. He is so cute. Now, my head is a little floppier than I would like it to be. But when they go down to 8 for the neck, it makes it very hard to get the stuffing in there. And if I would have been thinking, I would have done the Friendly Red Fox's little trick with making the little tube and sticking it in there, but I was not thinking. It's just how it goes. So this, you start with the ears. So I had the ears made, I had the ears made, I had the tail made, and I was working on the arms when everything started happening. Just a chain of events. And it was like the dog groomer first, and the phone calls, the text messages, Instagram. My daughter, you know how it goes. Just life was happening. So, like I said, it felt like it took all day long. And then when it got to the eyes, I'm like, it says 30 millimeter. This looks really small. So I started off trying a 25, and I'm like, nope, those eyes look too small. And we went with the 30s. And I was actually able to get these backs on. I was so happy. I used my eye tool, and you could hear it snap, snap, went right on. The backs were not an issue on these eyes. I was like, yay. In the pattern, there's 2 different body styles. I decided to go with the bigger body style. The other one would have probably been, maybe about that short. And I just felt with the size head that it needed a little bit more body. I'm very pleased with how this turned out. The only other thing that I would change is where the tail is attached, because it is like the very last round, and then you're closing it up and working the legs on either side. I would probably attach it up just a couple of rounds to make it easier for when you're doing the legs. Other than that, I think this is a great pattern. And this is by Crochet by Jania, I think is how it's pronounced. Janina. Janina. Something like that. But it is very cute. And he goes with Appa. I was told I was pronouncing it wrong. It's not as an apple, it's Appa. So, we live and learn. So we have Momo. One other new to me pattern, it's a free one from Instagram, and I thought it was a really clever idea. It's not hard to make, but it was a little hard for me because of the small hook and the skinny yarn. Sometimes, the hands just don't want to deal with that. But it's this dragon ring. Now, I think this would be something that would do very well with the kids, because it's something they can use, instead of just being the toy sitting on the shelf. They could use this. It didn't really take that long to make. It was just working with the small hook in the yarn. So, and it's no-sew, except for the wings. And then I added the little tail decoration at the end. I used the Dollar Tree Just Chenille, Premier's Just Chenille, to make this, because it called for a thin yarn, and I want to say a 3.5 millimeter, if I remember correctly, but I used a 4 millimeter. And it's still, it fits on the finger, but I am not sure if I will make more of these. It's kind of cute, you know. If my hands didn't feel so stiff from all the Bernat I've been using lately, and I've been using a lot of it, I probably would not have had as much difficulty using this thin yarn and the small hook as I did with this. But my fingers are a little stiff from all the Bernat lately. I mean, I have been using quite a bit of the Bernat and the Brights, you know, the blanket texture yarn, not the nice soft chenille. I just, you know, I go in phases. I can't help myself. But I do think these would be a hit. So when my hands feel a little less stiff, I might try a few more. I won't have them for this market. Now, maybe the school event in February, I might be able to, like if I did one and then worked on something else, then maybe a day or so later did one and then worked on something else. I might be able to do it that way, but to just sit and make a bunch of these, yeah, my hands wouldn't like me very much. So how's that headache doing? No headache for me. Not a drinker. Stayed home. And did you start your new year off on the right foot? Did you lift that left leg just before midnight? I saw that on Instagram. I thought it was just the funniest thing. So I got my Michaels order in that I spent my gift card on. And I have to say, I was so disappointed. You know, they finally got the terracotta in. It is not, it is not right. It's not right. Half my order I'm going to have to return. And I was really bummed because I needed those colors. Like, I need them for the elephants. I need them for Myrtle the turtle. I need them for hippos. You know, I need the colors, and they're awful. They're not thick and fluffy and plush. They are like really flat. Very much reminds me of the look that you get when you use the Dollar Tree Just Chenille. I don't know what's going on with these yarn companies. I don't know why they're all changing things. I don't know. But I don't like it. And I want them to know that. I don't like it. I have to send... The terracotta needs to go back. The agave green needs to go back. The light pink needs to go back. I'm just so disappointed. Now, a few of them were almost normal. I mean, I would rather have it where it's still thick and it doesn't have that silky feel like we've gotten some of those. I would rather have it that way than the way it came in. Let me grab one to show you. So this is a little scrap piece of the pink, how it should look. See how nice that is? It's extremely nice. Now this is the pink that they sent me. See the difference in that? This that they sent me is like, it's flat. It looks very rough. It's not fluffy. It's not as thick. And I mean, even the color's not even close. Like, this is much lighter than this one. I mean, I don't know if that's coming across on camera or not. I mean, I'm just super disappointed. Like, what are they thinking? What is going on with the yarn? If we use inferior supplies, we are going to have an inferior end result. That's all I can say. But yeah, so I have to return all that. And this is all I have left of my pink. I am very bummed. This tiny little bit. And this isn't even, like, doesn't have the feel of the very first Sweet Snuggles light that I used. This has more of that blankety type feel, but I'd rather have this than this. This is terrible. I am very disappointed. Very, very disappointed. But I busted out some of the Just Chenille scraps and went ahead and made a few Myrtle the Turtles. So, and I don't have a lot of color choices because they sent me junk. But we made this one first. And again, we're sticking with that scrap theme. You know, trying to use up skeins that are already opened without busting into another. So we have this pretty little girl. I was struggling finding a color that would go with this, but I thought this rose color kind of fit the bill. And I'm out of my 18mm usable eyes, so I went up to a 20 on these. And the 20mm looks just fine. I didn't have a good color, so she got silver eyes. And then we did this one. Can you believe I didn't have any blue eye discs? And I was like, I don't feel like making my own blue. So we got the copper looking color on this one. So I did these two. I really enjoy this pattern. It's, I mean, I don't attach the legs the way the pattern says to, because it has you work in this back part of this part here, and I didn't want to battle it. So we just attach it the normal way like you do with all the other turtles and go from there. But I like to display mine where they're kind of standing like this. And doing them this direction helps them to stand like that. So these I sold out of at the last market, the Myrtle the Turtles. That's why I need more. So this gives me, I believe, a total of 7 now of Myrtle the Turtle. I think. I'm pretty sure I did 5, and this gives me 7. I have to get all that stuff out and get that priced and pick through my other tote bags, take out anything that might have been Christmas, because I'm not going to take it with me. You know, I'll just put it in a tote for next year. And there's not that much left because I really didn't make much Christmas, but I think I have a Grinch or something like that in there. But, yeah, so I just need to pick through my bags and figure out what I'm going to take with me, add in the new stuff, add the new loveys to it, and go from there. So then I had one last item, and I did it this morning while I was waiting for you guys to all wake up and hopefully not have to battle a hangover. Well, it turns out I sold my patchwork teddy bear, the last deer that I have that I cannot make more of now because the teddy bear, or not teddy bear, the terracotta from Michael's is so bad. And Stacy's rooster. We sold those. They will ship out tomorrow because today's a holiday. So I needed to make another rooster. So I did that this morning while I was waiting for all you guys to wake up. And again, sticking with the scrap yarn, I used almost all of this that I had left. He turns out quite a bit bigger in Bernat than he did with the Premier Basics Chenille Brights. And again, using this blanket yarn, my fingers are feeling stiff. But, yep, I used yellow instead of orange because, I mean, I have an orange, but it's kind of like this really super, super bright. It's not like, and it's light. It's more like a yellow-orange crayon, if you know what what I'm trying to say there. It's not orange. And then I have like a rust. So it just didn't fit the bill of orange. So I used yellow. And again, that's sticking with my scrap bin. This is a nice yellow. I like that yellow. It is actually one of the yellows, I believe, that I picked up from Joann's when I was there. So we have this. So nothing huge. A few new patterns, some remakes, and that's how we spent our week. Yep. Actually, I did start another one. It was a free pattern for a Snoopy. And I got the head made. And then you start on the body with the legs. And I saw how small the legs were. And I'm like, these are going to be really small. And I just kind of sat it aside. I'll finish it eventually, but it kind of, you know, I wanted it a little bigger. But it's going to be like this, maybe. And I would have liked it, like, really big. But anyhow, all right, that is what I have to share with you today. Oh, no, I take that back. You guys are going to have to watch Heather's video Sunday. I convinced her to try some patterns that she hasn't tried before. She's been bucking the system. And she's getting real frustrated. So we're going to get a Heather rant. It ought to be interesting. Maybe even tonight in her live. I don't know. She might wait till Sunday. Anyways, seriously, that is all I have for you today. And I am going to get off of here. Put some nostrils on my pig. Add the missing tail to the cow. Price my stuff, and hopefully, if I'm still feeling ambitious, go through my bags and sort. Otherwise, I have tomorrow, and that's it, because Friday is the day, and we have to leave here at like 2 o'clock to be there by 2:45. And since it's my first time being there, and, you know, not knowing the routine for the place, I want to make sure I get there at the very beginning to allow myself enough time. So, I hope you guys have a great new year and you're not nursing too bad of a hangover, and we will see you in the next video.